Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video, I want to address a talking point I regularly make in other video content. Now, Final Fantasy XIV is a game rich with years of lore, story, and, of course, content. Now, while your friends or online sources might tell you to just rush through the story, get to max level, do the stuff that's there, you may also be familiar with the instructions to do those blue exclamation mark quests you encounter along the way, which unlock new dungeons and features for you to experience in Final Fantasy XIV. Now the truth is, some content that is still updated to this day is unlocked from quests way back in the game's past, and in my experience, so many people have no idea about this content. So for a few videos, let's discuss some of the content in 14 that may have been lost to time, but really never was lost at all. For the first video, I want to talk about treasure maps. This content was initially added way back in 2.1 as content for players to do solo or in a group. The concept is simple: find treasure maps, go to their location, fight enemies, and collect loot. Now, using your gathering classes, you can go and collect a treasure map from a gathering node. Now, the level and type of map determine its overall difficulty and rewards, and only a single map can be gathered once every 18 hours per character. You can track this timer in the in-game timer menu as you'd expect. Now keep in mind that while you can only gather one map every 18 hours, you can sell these on the market board or purchase them off the market board and decipher as many as you want without waiting. Now on its own, the map doesn't do anything. In order to utilize it, you'll have to do a quest to unlock some character actions. Over in Wineport in Eastern La Noscea is a level 36 quest called Treasures and Tribulations. It's a quick one that unlocks the Dig and Decipher character actions. Decipher allows you to use a treasure map in your inventory, discovering an X marked on a small portion of the map in a designated zone. Your goal is to then look at that and try to figure out where it is on the actual map so you can go to where X marks the spot. Or, Google it. Once you figure out the location, head there and use the dig command. This uncovers the chest, which by clicking on it, will spawn some enemies to defeat. After clearing out the bad guys, click the chest again and get your loot. In patch 3.3, treasure hunting content was expanded upon much further with the introduction of treasure dungeons. These dungeons could be accessed occasionally after completing the most difficult map available for the given expansion. The Aquapolis is the level 60 treasure dungeon, accessed from time-worn Dragonskin maps. The Lost Canals and Shifting Altars of Uznair were level 70 dungeons, accessed from time-worn Gazellskin maps. In Shadowbringers, our current expansion as of the making of this video, the treasure dungeon is the Dungeons of Ligia and is accessed from time-worn Zonerskin maps. In addition to the ones we just named, there are special time-worn Thieves maps that were occasionally rewarded from the Lost Canals or Shifting Altars. These allowed you to access a higher stakes treasure dungeon called the Hidden Canals of Uznair at level 70. Very similar to the Lost Canals, but it has an extra door and some additional random occurrences that would become standard in the level 80 dungeon. Speaking of which, odds are we'll see a level 80 equivalent of these maps some point in the future. These dungeons and the maps that precede them are also designed for groups, with at least 3 to 4 being recommended and 8 being major overkill. There are also some other maps as well. If you've done the past Moogle events, you might be familiar with the maps that were available from that, but they're just alterations of the maps that are available in the ones that we've just mentioned. Inside a treasure dungeon, players defeat enemies and play games of chance, hoping that they luck out and proceed to the next stage. Whether it's selecting doors or spinning a roulette wheel, there's a chance the players will move on to face tougher opponents and get better loot, or be ejected from the dungeon entirely. If the player is unfortunate, their ventures in these dungeons will be short-lived. With some luck, however, players will find tomestones, materia, crafting materials, and rare items worth plenty of gil. Not to mention, gil just falls into everyone's pockets as you progress as well. There are even random events that can give you additional rewards, including gil-hoarding creatures you have to hunt down and kill in a short time, large bosses that can drop at the most unfortunate of timings, and additional games of chance such as a double or nothing higher or lower card game. You never know what's going to be given to you at any given point. Now, treasure dungeons are among my favorite content in 14 and has been one of the sources of my near 200 million stash of gil, and I do spend it occasionally, but that being said, it's one of my favorite ways to make money in the game. It's full of frustration and disappointment. A lot of frustration and disappointment. But fun with friends and just getting a laugh at your unfortunate or fortunate luck never ceases to keep bringing me back to this content every time it receives an update. For most people, you may be relegated to finding parties in the Party Finder or Fellowships if you don't have a link shell or free company that's super interested in the content. But at the very least, if you never plan on doing any of this content, At least go gather the map every day and sell it on the market board to at least put some gil in your pocket. It's free money waiting for you, and it's very low effort. Now, I could dive into all the random occurrences and things that you could do inside, but I really want that to be at least a little bit of a surprise for you if you've never done the content before. Trust me, it's something that I would consider very much worth doing, assuming you can find a proper group for it. Now, before I wrap up the video, just want to say thank you to everyone who has been supporting the YouTube content, despite there not really being a lot of it in the last month. You'll probably hear me say this in the next couple of videos, but the last month, I've been having a bit of a bout with a bit of stress and depression to the point where I kind of just took a step away from YouTube. You know, 14 wasn't doing anything that required me to make a ton of videos, but at the very least, I owe it to the years of support from you guys to put out news videos and fun little things like this that you can share with a friend, especially for the newer people coming in Shadowbringers. So with that, be on the lookout for this and some other content popping up in the channel as I try to get back into my groove of things, and I'm feeling really good about this one. So thanks again for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and please be on the lookout for more content, especially as we come up to patch 5.1. I'll see you all in the next one, and until then, take care.